T-Mobile's handing out free pizza, Motorola's got a new flagship device, and you'll soon be able to play Fruit Ninja in VR. That's what I like. Hello and welcome back to this weekly series that I've been doing where I talk about all of the wonderful fun things that I find out on the internet and I bring them to your eyeballs and earballs and whatever other balls you want. First up, as I mentioned in the intro there, T-Mobile had their Uncarrier 11 event where they announced T-Mobile Tuesdays, so every Tuesday moving forward until they decide to stop doing it at some point. If you are a T-Mobile customer, prepaid, postpaid, or work customer, you can go into the T-Mobile Tuesdays app and get free stuff. This week, it was a free pizza from Domino's, a Frosty from Wendy's, a $5.50 credit to Voodoo.com, and a ticket to the Warcraft movie at any Fandango location. I took advantage of 3 of the 4 of those. Unfortunately, I missed out on the movie ticket, although I've heard that it's not missing much. Additionally, if you are a postpaid customer, meaning if you're on a contract with them, or whatever their contract terminology is, you actually get stock in the company. So again, if you're a postpaid customer, make sure to look into it. Moving along. When the Galaxy S7 released, I really should have held out. The Galaxy S6, there was an active version of it that was so rugged and it had a bigger battery and it was just better in every way, except it was a little bigger and clunkier. But we end up putting these gigantic cases on the thin devices anyway. And to go along with that, Samsung has unveiled the Galaxy S7 Active that is an AT&T exclusive device. But it comes packing a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, a shatterproof screen, and still has all of that same dust resistance, waterproofing that you've come to know and love from the Galaxy S7. Again, the big downer with that is it is an AT&T exclusive device, but I did end up buying my Galaxy S7 on an AT&T exclusive device, so yeah, take it or leave it as far as I'm concerned. But I can see how this is definitely a problem. And it does only come in a camo pattern, if I remember correctly. Not really my forte, but it might be for you. Motorola also unveiled a few devices this week. The Moto Z family, including the Moto Z and the Moto Z Force, and DROID editions. They're going to be Verizon exclusives, of course. As far as I've read, I've seen different stories here, but some of them say they're not coming until September. Some of them say everything's Verizon exclusive until September. One way or the other, these devices look really interesting, except for the size, in my opinion. I'm just not a big device guy, but 5.5-inch Quad HD display, Snapdragon 820, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 or 64 gigs of storage, pretty decent cameras, small to medium-sized batteries, 2600 and 3500 milliamp hours. But the cool thing about it is Moto Mods. And there's actually a video over on CNET where they kind of go through some of these mods. One of them is I think it's a battery with a speaker built in from JBL. There's one that's just a battery pack, and then there's these stylish covers you can put over it as well, and it's all magnetically held on with super strong magnets. This is another step toward interesting modularity. I'm a big fan of this. I'm going to be on the lookout for it, but I haven't seen anything about pricing or actual availability, like it will be here on X day for X price. When we do know more, I'll be on the lookout for it. I'll be sure to let you know. But the funny thing about the Moto Z series, they kind of beat Apple to the punch, as it were. There's been a lot of people saying that the new iPhone, whenever it comes out later this year, is not going to have a headphone jack. Motorola apparently said, sure, let's do that. So the Moto Z does not have a headphone jack. It has a USB Type-C port, which you'll have to use with a USB-C to 3.5mm adapter, or Bluetooth headphones, or just USB Type-C headphones if they ever come out with those. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, but again, I don't normally use 3.5mm connections on my phones, although with the HTC 10, I've been doing a lot of that. I point because it's over there. Lenovo also announced a new device, the Phab2 Pro, which is the first Google Project Tango phone, and it's going to be available for $500 sometime this summer. Now, this is a massive device. This is actually smaller than the original Project Tango tablet. It's not 7 inches, it's now 6.4 inches. But it's a phone. It's got the Snapdragon 652 processor in it, 64 gigs of built-in storage and micro SD card slot, 4 gigs of RAM, and a 2560 by 1440 pixel display. And interestingly enough, it's going to be sold at Lowe's and Best Buy. So why is Lowe's going to sell a phone? If you're not from the area, Lowe's is a hardware store. So it'd be kind of like walking into Home Depot and buying a phone. Maybe they're intending to use it for contractors, for like 3D mapping rooms and design. I don't know. Either way, very cool to see the sort of consumer-friendly Project Tango devices that are relatively reasonably priced showing up. NVIDIA has released an update to the Shield as of this week, the Shield Android TV device, and now it can actually run an entire Plex server just from the Shield TV. Previously, you'd have to have the Plex app running on the Shield and then have some sort of additional server, like a whole desktop dedicated to it somewhere. It's currently what I'm actually doing. But now, especially if you have the Pro version that has 500 gigs of storage in it, you can run everything from that little Shield box. But what's good here is you can also do it from USB, you can do it over NAS, you can do it over whatever else you can connect to, so you don't have to have that. I've got the 16 gig version that NVIDIA sent out to me, so I'll actually be able to run my Plex server just off of the Shield, so I won't have to have a whole desktop dedicated to that. Very cool. Tesla rolled out a couple of new cars this week, 2 other Model S's, and the funny thing is they're actually more entry-level cars. You have the Model S60 and the Model S60D. The Model S60 is going to start at $66,000, and I think they said something like $58,000 after the tax credits. The 60D starts at $71,000, and it's an all-wheel drive car. You also have the ability, because it's not just a 60 kilowatt hour battery that comes in it, it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery, and you can unlock that additional capacity for $8,500 when you purchase the car, or $9,000 plus I think $500 installation fee after you purchase the car if you figure out 210 miles just isn't enough for you. Bringing it down under the $60,000 mark definitely makes it a little bit more tempting for me, but I'm still holding off for the Model 3. I know it's going to be like years and years, but holding out hope for a $30,000, $40,000 car. Philips released some interesting information this week. They put out a video showing off some new camera technology they've come up with. They can effectively act as a baby monitor. Just put it in your baby's room, pointing it at your child while they're sleeping in their bed. But it doesn't just watch. It will tell you their breathing rate and their heart rate just from observing them. As a parent of a very young child, this thing would be amazing. If they actually released this to consumers right now, I would pay for it. If it was hundreds of dollars, I would pay for it, because my wife and I are looking for exactly this. We're looking for different monitors to put under him or to put on him to make sure everything's okay while we're out of the room. But having something that could monitor him by watching, that would be another amazing option. The Bluetooth Special Interest Group has announced that Bluetooth 5 is officially on the way. I think we're up to Bluetooth 4.1 now, if I'm not mistaken. But Bluetooth 5 is actually going to be 4 times the speed and double the range. Bluetooth speeds have not been extremely fast up till now, if I remember correctly, but the range is usually pretty decent. We're talking 10 meters, so instead of 10, you may be seeing 20 meters. That's some pretty decent distance. You're going from decently slow to less than decently slow. Sounds good. They say they're officially going to be unveiling it on June 16th in London, so be on the lookout for more information next week. Also this week, the first passenger drone has officially been given permission for US flight testing. The EHang 184 that we talked about from CES earlier this year, that's basically just a gigantic quadcopter with passenger, is now legal to be flight tested, and I think they're going to be flight testing it in Nevada. So while this is not a you can get your own flying car tomorrow kind of thing, this is a step. Next up, there will be lots and lots of flight tests, and then eventually litigation and bills passed, and you must have licensing and so on and so forth. But this is a step. It's the first step. Moving on to some VR news though, HTC Vive is now closer to being readily available. They say they now ship in just 2 to 3 business days, where it was months and months out. And they've also added in some more locations where you can get your hands on the Vive, some more demo locations. Starting in June, they say it's going to be demoed in 100 different retail stores across North America. So if you want to get your hands on the Vive before you actually buy one, if you're thinking of buying one, check out the HTC Vive site. You should be able to find all of the retail locations where they're going to be showing it. I've had mine for a few weeks now, and oh, it's so much fun. If I can ever get it away from my 7-year-old. HTC also unveiled a HTC Vive Business Edition, HTC Vive BE. They say it's for enterprise VR, but it's effectively the existing HTC Vive. But instead of being $800, it's $1,200. It's got the headset, 2 controllers, 2 base stations, a 3-in-1 cable, and 4 face cushions, but it comes with a dedicated VR support line and a 12-month limited warranty. Seem to remember the existing one has a warranty. So all you're really getting there is $400 extra. I think I saw somewhere the ability to buy in bulk. So if you wanted to outfit your entire organization, you could do it for 50% more than retail price. And you'd get support. You'd get support line. Maybe if you actually thought you'd need the support, it might be worth buying 1 or 2 units at this price and then trying to buy all of the rest of them you needed at the retail price. I cannot see the justification for $1,200 a piece though, unless there's some sort of additional software or hardware that comes along with it. But just wanted to let you know that is an option. Google unveiled 5 very, very interesting Daydream VR demos. And from the demos, it actually looks like it's all working with the HTC Vive controllers, but the videos are all embedded in the Techno Buffalo post. I'm just gonna go ahead and link to that. It shows off like typing using a xylophone, doing bowling and slides and ladders and all sorts of other interactive things. It's still very early day stuff, but very cool to see the kind of stuff you're gonna be able to do with VR on mobile. As I mentioned in the intro again, Fruit Ninja is officially coming to VR platforms this very, very soon actually. We will probably see it as soon as E3 on the HTC Vive, and then later this year it's going to be coming to the Oculus Rift, PlayStation VR, and also Google Daydream. But like I said, E3 next week, it should show up on the HTC Vive, Probably will not receive it on the consumer side of things for a little while after that. But still, the whole idea of having your two controllers and being able to kill all of those fruit, you can already do it in a bunch of arcades now with a touchscreen. It seems like a natural progression to be able to do it in VR. It'd be kind of interesting if it were all 360 degree, you know, here's the fruit over here and there's a bomb and here's... I'm looking forward to this. Valve also rolled out a piece of software called Destinations or Destination Workshop Tools for VR, which is completely free. It's available in early access right now, and it enables you to create virtual reality landscapes and destinations to be in. So this should help pave the way for a lot of new virtual reality games moving forward, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And to wrap things up for the sake of time, Facebook has updated their apps on iOS and Android to support 360-degree photo viewing. It's 360-degree, it's VR-style stuff. I thought I'd go ahead and mention it, and I think that's actually going to wrap things up for me for today. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching these videos. All the links to everything that I've talked about can be found down below. Remember to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to receive more, have a great weekend, and I'll see you again next time.